Today, I'd like to share a personal story. So this past weekend, I was running an errand and sitting in a car in a parking lot about to get out when I noticed a man that was walking behind a series of cars was suddenly startled as a car was backing out. Now, obviously, he looked kind of annoyed, but the angle that I was in, I could see a wider lens basically and see that what he did was he stepped out of the way of the car backing out, but in the way of another car that was coming. Now, this was a parking lot, so it's not a horror story I'm sharing here. But the point is, he stepped in the way of another car. Now, when I kind of got out of my car and got closer to the store and the entrance, I noticed that one of the entrances to the parking lot was blocked. So basically, what was happening was everyone was coming in and coming out the same way. Now, why am I sharing this story with you? The point is, often we're kind of in the weeds and we just have this one perspective. The man that was walking behind the car was just going about his way in his own world on his phone, of course. When the car backed out, he got annoyed that they did not notice him. I, who was further back, zoomed out, could see that he actually stepped in the way of another car coming in the direction, right? And then if you zoom out even further, the nuance was there was one entrance to the parking lot and the same one was being used for the exit. And that's why there were so many cars and it was so cramped and this happened. Now, how often does this happen in our everyday workplaces? You may have a direct report that ran a certain method or a report produced a result and you're like, wait, why did you do it this way? You need to do it this other way. If you zoomed out a little, perhaps you'd find out that the way that they ran it is the way that the team that's downstream needs the number provided. And the way you're recommending would not work. I had another client who was working on a big time negotiation over a 6-month period, and she had built up a really good relationship with the counterparty. The counterparty on the other side acted in an uncertain and unexpected way and was playing hardball, threatening all the progress that had been made over the last 6 months, which really kind of struck my client. But here's the thing, if you zoomed out of that situation, you realize that in that meeting on that day, the counterparty's manager was also there. And clearly, she was under a lot of pressure from her manager to play hardball. So this is a general reminder to you that when things are sort of unexpected, unusual, annoying even, your competition's doing something totally weird, someone you know to be acting in one way is suddenly acting haphazardly in another way, a peer at work, your manager, etc., try and see if you can take a zoom out, basically. Realize that perhaps you are in the weeds and the context and viewpoint that you are looking at is not the complete picture. Because as a leader, we have to be able to kind of span the spectrum. Be at the 20,000 foot level and see the big picture as the example I'm making here, but also be able to zoom in and be like, do I really understand the nuance of what's actually happening on the front lines? This sort of ability to move up, out, and in deep is really necessary as a leader. So the next time things seem a little out of place, maybe it's time for you to realize that you need to zoom out and have another look at it. I hope that was helpful. Until next time.